Go Beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Critscast for our Highlander Season 10 Premier Division game with Rascals versus Immaculate Dub. I'm Lucky, joined by Dave. Run down a couple of rosters about who we've got playing this evening. So we've got Turris, Raylan Bird, Bonk It Up, 1, 2, 3, Tokol, Sexy Turtle, Tal, Float, and Centaur on Rascals. And on the side of Immaculate Dub, we've got Sheep, Rohan, Liquid Rays, Nerf, Shy, Shaky, Maz, and Andy Roo.
The maps is going to be something that is going to be a huge factor in this game, because the game from a few weeks ago that was decisive for seeding, we saw it was Rascals were absolutely dominant, and then we saw Immaculate Dub come in and they were pretty dominant on Asheville. So I don't know whether it was a certain map thing or whether it was a game type thing. There's obviously different game types. We've got Stopwatch on one hand and Koth on the other, so maybe that was a difference.
We have the picks and bans up on the screen for you, ladies and gentlemen. Borneo and Cornwater both getting banned out. Still getting the first pick there from the Rascals. And then Asheville getting picked up by Immaculate Dub. I love to see these maps. Steel is actually one of my favourites. And Swiftwater getting banned out. And then we have Upward as a last. Upward also one of my favourites. So I think we've got all of my favourite Highlander maps here, Dave, to get played out. So I'm actually excited to see these games.
But the real difference maker is going to be the Immaculate Dub are going to have to win one of these Stopwatch maps tonight. And, based on the other week, they were very, very bad on Cornwater. All the kind of standard stuff you see on Stopwatch maps, they were really not able to put together at all on Cornwater. They're going to have to put it together either on Steel or on Upward if it does go to the decider.
Let's see if they can pop off this game, especially on a map like Steel. You got those long sniper sidelines as well until you get kind of inside, and then it's a little bit 50-50 as to whether you're going to hit them, but we've got a Koth map and Upward as well, so heavily sniper favoured on the last two maps especially. Chat have decided that Rascals are going to win this game, so Chat clearly knows something that I don't, and Immaculate Dub are going to get absolutely rolled. That's what I'm reading here. Any predictions that you want to throw out there for this first map on Steel?
I'm going to back Rascals based on Immaculate Dub's payload performance. I think it's going to be difficult for them to go against Rascals on this Steel map.
I'm going to say screw you and screw Chat and say Immaculate Dub are going to take a fat W today. They're going to have what we call Immaculate Dub. If they take this map off them, then it's a map advantage in their favour because of the actual map picks and bans. But we are now going live now, Dave. So we're going to see how these teams want to set up. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Steel for our first map.
Yeah, and one of the first things I really want to point out on this map that I saw a bit differently from Europe. Obviously, the Aussie scene, they take some things from Europe, they take some things from LA, and they always bring their own little bit of flavour. Something that seemed to be very popular based on what I saw earlier this season was that they weren't really holding heaven when they were getting stuck on that E point on the last. They tended to hold white really hard, and that's really got out of favour in Europe in the last few seasons because of how much kind of pressure, defensive pressure that you give up on the E point. It's very easy to just get some cap time down on E, even just focus down that sentry. It's very easy for the offense to just get some pressure, just putting some cap time down. So we'll have to see if they stick to that or if they have a little bit of different struts.
Yeah, we're seeing the classic dispenser armor on the left there. The teleporters then get the heavy backup to the high ground after it retrieves ammo. Very classic engineer stuff out on this B point. So they're just going to send the remaining players to A. Looks like Rohan's just going to be out there just kind of chilling. He's going to be poking around on the soldier class, trying to buy some time on that buff banner as well. Just to kind of slow them down a little bit and get a little bit of an advantage with that buff banner getting built. But it looks like A is going to go into the hands of the blue team pretty much immediately, as is standard stuff. And now we get to see the siege onto the B point. The teleport already getting cleaned up though, which is a pretty big deal actually, because now you can't get that heavy back to the high ground quite so easily. And Tokol's going to start taking that. They come in with Uber, and the medic goes down. Unfortunately, they're dropping that Uber charge, and the sentry gun's still at large, however, but getting that medic pick is essential to taking this B point.
Yeah, I think that was a case of the medic Shaky thought that it was just the pyro walking at them, but what they weren't aware of is the heavy Tokos also came in from top, and when you've got a pyro walking at you, you've got there's a time that you expect the pyro to kill you. When the heavy is shooting you at the same time, that is out the window twice as fast.
their sentry took a very, very long time to go down there, and it only just went down. So now the red team have actually managed to get their players out here, and it looks like they are actually getting their players in. Nuts just walking forwards. He's just spraying them down. He doesn't really care at this point. And they have actually managed to hold on to most of this B point here. We've got Raylan and Turris both going down there as well. So 3 players down for the blue team is going to mean that they're in the respawn queue only for a short period of time. But Sheep being the only player down, the scout dying is not so much of a big deal. Flo gets shot in the face and he's now dead. So now this sentry gun has just gone back up. It's already level 2. So this defense is going to continue here despite that uber disadvantage that they had in the original beginning of this game.
That was a real tragedy of the Uber push. They do still have control of the concrete area, so they could get some pressure down. At the moment, it's only Toko speaking. I'd like to see a little bit more. Seems they've opted to actually push this flank in. They've started to get some cap time on E. There's an NG and a soldier up in heaven. The NG's actually going to get caught out by Sheep, who was hiding, but they will get cleaned up in return. Trade is also out, coming in on B. And with a snipe from Flo onto Shine, that's going to mean the defense is going to crumble, and Blue are going to be able to surge forward here.
Yeah, there's actually currently about 1/3 E cap time as well, so they've got to have that pressure in the back of their minds. If that goes any further, they might want to try and stop them. They're setting up the sentry gun on E, actually. And it is now fully set up. You got that level 3 gun. It is going to start getting spammed by the soldier and potentially the sniper because it is at an awkward angle. The Wrangler comes out and he's able to defend that gun. And that is causing some very intense pressure to the point where the red team have actually had to go all the way into the E point and start clearing some of these teleporters and other relative buildings out. And they won't have as good a defense now on this C point, and now they might open themselves up here.
Yeah, there is an uber advantage for Blue. It's not always the easiest to leverage into a point or some kind of push. You know, they've either got to go C and get those land or get the kind of extension up. They've actually just Ubered straight in. They thought the gamers were in the connector area, but they've been able to kite it very, very effectively. Uber really getting no damage down whatsoever, and we can see actually here, Immaculate Dub have a full setup on C, but the Rascals don't necessarily need to deal with that. They're actually going to rotate themselves onto the E point. They've got a sticky trap down in the E door, so it's up to Immaculate Double whether they want to commit back in through the BC area or rotate back through spawn. At the moment, it looks like they're going to go through the connector, and it's going to be crunch time very soon.
It is indeed, and they have started. I think they've started to realise they're rotating their Demo Man and their Pyro through, and they get them in the corridor. They actually have to use out the Uber as Tokos is around the corner. Just forces out the Uber, and they don't actually go for him as well. They're going to go for this sentry gun instead. It's currently only level 1, so it doesn't do too much. The Man gets picked up as well as Bunker Up goes down to the scout of Sheep, and now once again this cap time is going to continue to come in. And you've got to start getting worried now if you are the side of Immaculate Dub here, even, because, you know, Rascals are breathing down your neck on this E point, over halfway capped. And now they are starting to get some momentum going. They're getting their heavy in this doorway. Massive damage from Bonker up onto Nerf here, and he's going to go down on the pack. And Tokal's still at large, but they've got no one on this point. They need to get someone back to it as soon as possible.
Yeah, there's no one to block the point really, but there's also no one to cap it right now. We've got Shy is actually going to set up a cheeky sentry gun in the dungeon area. It's going to get reflected by Bird. She's doing a very nice job on the Pyro, getting capped up down. The Scout is now there as well, and the sentry gun's taken out. So it's only really Raze here who can commit. They do have players in the esport, so that is the good thing for Immaculate Dub. Got a lot of cap time, and we've actually seen a rotation come out of Rascals here. They're thinking that they don't want to fully commit to E. They're quickly rotated back onto C, and they're going to get that cap probably for free. We've seen Immaculate Dub not very keen to rotate back. They're actually just going to go and hold White Room.
Yeah, it looks like they've opted now for this C point. The gun is currently going up on the E point. But all that cap time going down is going to mean that it's going to be much, much harder for them to now push onto this E point than it was before. But looks like they are rotating around. They don't really want to go through D. They're going to go through main and just see if they can get their players out onto this point. Bonker Up receives a bullet to the face and goes down to a headshot there. And the bridges are now starting to extend, which is going to make it slightly easier now for this blue side to get on this E point.
Yeah, they are sticking some time on it. This is what we talked about in the pre-game, where it's kind of difficult for Immaculate Dub to really contest the E-point. They're all kind of stuck shooting from this one doorway, and Bonk is actually in a great position to deny. What he can't deny, though, is an Uber, and the Uber is coming out of red. It's going to try and clear the point up to actually force the Uber back out of Rascals here. They not sure if they want to really commit into the White Room area when the Sentry Gun is still alive. They've taken out the Sentry Gun, they've taken out the heavy nerf as well. They're sticking players back onto the E-point now and trying to lock down the E-spawn. A couple of players here for Immaculate Dub have spawned and be able to rotate back, but Raylan is in the backlines as well, open to create chaos, spamming rockets down into the spawn door. I don't think there's going to be anyone here to block. There is actually a soldier flying in, Rohan, but he's destroyed by Flo. That's a beautiful little headshot. No one quite on the point here, but they've got to deal with a sniper. They've got to deal with players in heaven as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're now opting for this mini sentry setup as well. Getting that gunslinger out now, just because it makes it super difficult to try and rebuild that sentry gun when you're in this situation. And looks like Tokos finds a kill in lower, and they are just starting to walk their main classes over. Nerf is just head glitching this wall and just shooting absolutely everyone out on this E-point here, as Turris actually runs in there and gets absolutely obliterated by the remaining players of the red side. So this is actually an alright defense that they've managed to now set up from the hole that they had in White Room, as you mentioned before. Bomb comes in, Bird is about to go down, does do so, and Tokos here is going to have to retreat. Tal in the dirt for another 1 second, and he just gets his respawn now, and has only just linked up with someone, so massive Uber advantage now from Immaculate Dub.
That seemed to be a huge miscommunication there. They committed the combat down into the dungeon area, got themselves worried about getting trapped out. I don't think the demo was even there in position to trap him out. But now Centaur's picked up nerf, so there's no heavy. There's actually 4 players down here for the red side of Immaculate Dub for the defense. The red Uber is going to come out, but there's absolutely no target with it. He's seeing Bonk, he shoots one little pipe towards him, gets a bit of damage down, but Bonk is going to live. There's still a Spice Centaur in the backlines, but Maz now, the first time we've seen them on the sniper glass, starting to click some heads, clicks Bonk, and that's going to be the aggression down for Blue right now.
Yeah, so Flo is trying to peek through main. He's not really finding too much right now. The rest of the team are starting to coordinate some kind of offense towards this D point with their soldier spy combo, which you mentioned before, and they are managing to take a lot of space here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the action, we've got everyone kind of respawning, getting set up, moving in towards the point for a coordinated attack on towards this E point potentially. So everyone's kind of getting into position, getting ready to do some stuff, and White Room is currently being occupied again by the red side.
Yeah, that was a great committed rotation there from the red combo. It was Sheep, Raze and Liquid all taking the heals into White Room. They cleaned up the couple of places in White Room, and then Rascals were just completely out on their feet, completely caught off guard, and Sheep was able to just run in, gun down the medic, so now there's going to be a full Uber advantage once more for the side of Immaculate Dub. Rascals not sure what they want to do. It's very difficult to break this White Room hold from this side, and they've got to deal with a potential Uber as well. We want to see kind of players coming in from different angles, but at the moment it looks like they're kind of out of ideas.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to have to try and muscle their way in here. The demo man just walks in, but this red Uber comes out now. They're going to lose so many players off the back of this. Bonk It Up and Tokos both going down here is going to spell the end of this push. Raylan and Bird also eating the dirt, as this minigun's just ripping them apart here. They haven't got any real presence now out on this offensive area of the map. It's just Turris and Techly Turtle that are just in, and they both get bodied by Sheep and go down. So incredible stuff from him.
Yeah, I mean, they did a decent job. They got the force out relatively easily just by committing. They now have themselves a pretty decent Uber advantage, although they weren't exactly building optimally when the medic had to run out of there alone. The moment they just opted to take the sniper Flow to close in on this White Room area, they're holding very, very close, but the problem is it's going to be very easy for Liquid here to deny. The Flow gets the snipe out, but Liquid does a decent job of pushing the Uber back. They get the one frag, Liquid, anti-Rue and Raze going down as well, so there's a couple of frags to work off. They really need to get a snowball going now, because already we're looking at a pretty dreadful time.
Yeah, they are now starting to get some count time down on D. They've got the 6 on the top left door, so no peeking is going to be had on there, and D is pretty much in their hands, and now E is going to be right for the taking here, so we're going to see which team is going to muscle through here, but red team have a sizable Uber advantage to play with. They're actually going to come out onto this D point. They're going to go for the defense. They get players on it, and the cap hasn't gone through. And now they're in real trouble on the side of the blue team here. Rascals just taking a tumble here, there, and everywhere as the decap never went in.
Yeah, but they currently have so much of a player advantage. As soon as they get their spawns up here, as soon as their combo players especially are able to come back into this fight, they're going to be able to push off the fact that there's very few players left on red alive. We've seen Centaur going in for something, trying to gun down the sniper Maz, but won't be able to do it at the moment. I'm actually really impressed from immaculate, but we see Bonk just running with the Uber, catch them completely off guard. No one was watching the D angle. That's something that didn't impress me at all. No one watching it. They've been able to clean up those couple of frags with the Uber advantage. Still a heavy up in this window area. He will eventually go down, and now surely we will see them. Well, they've got position, but suddenly all the spawns are coming from red. But it's going to be very difficult for them to fight against this heavy position that Rascals have here.
Yeah, they've managed to claim all that area with the resupply doors getting locked off there in the main area, and now Tokos are just standing in the way of the entire red team. Those railings have gone up as well, so it makes it even more difficult for them to get air blasted off of this point as well now. So they've got to really try their hardest to get through here. It looks like the capture time is still going in, but red team managed to scramble some kind of defense, picking off Turris and Bird, and now they've got no one else on that capture, and they're able to get back in position on the side of Immaculate Dub, and this looks like Rentar also going down as well, trying to get on top of this heavy here, but not doing too much. Tokos and Sexy Turtle, though, taking the teleporter in. Tokos dealing so much damage. Floyd gets a body shot onto Rohan as well. Everyone's dying here, there, and everywhere. Red team is getting absolutely shredded all of a sudden from those teleporting in players, and now this E point is going to basically be theirs.
Yeah, there's a couple of players diving in to try and block it, to try and extend it a little bit more. But we will eventually see the cap come in. It's going to be 12:50, which is a pretty horrendous time. But, you know, they pulled something clutch there out in the end. We saw a teleporter up in heaven. They're able to put the slow classes, the heavy and then the engineer through. And while they were doing that, we had the faster classes, the demo man, the scout, the soldier running across the point, you know, rolling out as normal without taking the teleporter. They're able to coordinate their aggression at the same time and finally clean up. That was, you know, a nice little push there.
Good lord, I mean that was rough for Rascals, but let's see how Immaculate Dub can do here, if they can do better than what happened there. I feel like you know, Rascals, they had some really terrible Ubers, if I'm going to be honest. They had one really good one at the end where they managed to get Bonk it up in and he killed like 3 people, and they did pretty good on that. But for the most part, their Ubers went in, they kind of they walked in, got to the point where they should be, and then their Uber would be faded, and then they'd be dead afterwards. So a little bit rough on those. Let's see if they can rectify it coming into this next round.
Oh, Andy Rue was able to get up the concrete area without getting spy checked at all, but just about beefs the stab onto Tokos. Don't know whether it was just superior heavy position or a little bit of a beef on Andy Rue's end. Isn't able to get that, but that's a warning sign. If the spy's able to walk straight up there with no spy checking, and you know the heavy not being ready for it, we see he's actually gunning from a different angle now, and this time he's picked up Bonk, the demo man.
It looks like the Ubers are now being exchanged. Looks like it is just a solo Uber onto this red pyro, and he's just going to air blast absolutely everyone away and actually chase into main and picks off Raze. So that's a really big pick there to find. Killing off that demo man is going to mean so much offensive pressure is now gone, and also Nerf getting a headshot is going to mean that he's going to run away. And they've also got Liquid Alchemy up here, and he is super weak, and it's just going to burn down to the flames of Bird as well, so he goes down. And it looks like Nerf has managed to get back in position. The gun is gone and got sapped here. Nerf's going to be walking down. He's raised down Tal. He's in behind. He gets the demo man as well. It looks like this heavy's just ripping them apart there. Amazing stuff there from Nerf. Essentially solo winning out this point on B.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was a great play from Nerf, but from both these teams we've seen not enough presence in this concrete area. They've put the heavy up there, and then once the heavy's either been removed or had to drop down, neither team has done a good enough job of rotating enough players. They've opted to have the soldier in white room, whereas a lot of the European sides, you'll now see them put that soldier up there. So it's been very easy for the blue side so far to take control of that concrete area, and B falls off the back of it all the time.
Looks like Rentar now out on this point. Liquid Alchemy is just spraying flames absolutely everywhere trying to find him, but they don't manage to latch any onto him, and he is super weak currently, so if he gets tickled by any damage, he's going to go down. But he is buying his team information right now, letting them know, yeah, the C point's occupied, team, and as the capture now goes through it, now D is open for capture, and this is looking a lot faster and a lot more coordinated than we saw in the previous round.
Yeah, you can definitely see Immaculate Dub. They're utilising their advantages. You know, when they got a few picks here on the B point, they're able to really do a fast conversion, and they've got the C off the back of it. This was something Rascals weren't able to do. They got a lot of frags on B themselves, but only got that 1 point for it. Now we're seeing the blue Uber here coming in. It's actually trading out from a slightly better Uber for red, but they're gonna have to get themselves in a position at the moment. Bonk is caught in kind of a bad position. He's able to kite enough. There's a great return, actually. Tourist coming in, getting a lot of frags. Bird as well, picking Shaky the medic up as well. That medic is up now, but Tao is actually really weak as well, and eventually goes down to a little shank from Andy Rue.
I just love how Nerf was like, the rest of the team's got it, I'm in as well. He just drops off the high ground where he has the advantage and just gets absolutely shredded as soon as he hits the floor. But White Room now being held by this red side, and they've got a good defense in between these 2 points here. So E and D going to be successfully defended by these by the rotation that they've made. So looking pretty good here. Bonk up there playing with fire. Tokos gets headshot around the corner there for a 450 damage headshot right there. So he's going to be in the dirt. And looks like now they're going to be pushing in to this White Room, and they managed to claim it back here. They should continue running in while Tokos and Bonk up are still dead and claim this D point.
Yeah, Nerf is looking. He's got Liquid on the combo with it. Again, there's no one here this time on Rascal's side looking at the defense, so they're going to be able to walk onto it, get some cap time down, sticky it up as well. At the moment, just sticking it up the corridor. Flow is looking down the sight line, so it's going to be an awkward situation for Shaky whether they want to commit. They do have an Uber advantage as well here, so if they're going to pop straight through, make sure they don't drop it. Yeah, a great pop there coming out of Shaky, using the Uber up towards the heaven area. Cleans up the sentry. Rascal's doing a decent job of rotating themselves onto C, but it does mean they've given up a lot of position on the E point here, and the E point is the critical point to defend.
Oh no, the railings have gone up, and now it's going to be difficult now to do. Okay, Rentar manages to get the stab there onto the medic. Well, I say stab, the butter knife. And he just spreads his butter on some toast. And looks like we've now got a situation where the red team have managed to come back in floods of players with those heals being down, and meaning that they're going to get some additional pressure here. The sentry gun is currently getting built in main, so he's going to wrangle that onto the point, and he should have some kind of decent defense here. Coming up, so it's not going to be any easy feat to still take this point off them.
Yeah, it is difficult to really put a ton of cap time down when there's a demo and when there's a sentry denying it from the corridor, but it's also quite easy to get some players in behind the corridor. I mean, even just walking in from the B point can be very, very devastating. So at the moment we can see how much focus is being put on the E point from both teams. Bonk, Flow and Bird all just completely tunnel vision on it. If Blue were to send a single player in from B, they're actually sending Sheep just straight in. Direct gets 2, 3, 4 kills now onto the medic, eventually taken out by Tao, but I think the damage is done here. The medic Tao is completely alone in the connector area. He's not alone though, because Andy Rue is down on him. He beeps a couple of shots as well. Tokos just about gets there in time, but while this has all been happening, there hasn't been enough players to block onto the E point. Now the Uber is coming in. Oh, the flying heavy comes in, Lucky.
Oh my god. Look what Alfred just goes flying in from somewhere. The heavy goes flying in, and they just air blast each other off this point here, and E now is about to get captured, but this Wrangler is doing so much work, but it does go through, and that's going to be a first round victory to the side of Immaculate Dub. And that, I've got to say, they had a much better time getting past all these points. I think Rascals had a really hard time getting in between those points there, Dave.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some valiant defensive efforts there coming in from Rascals, but they didn't manage to post a competitive time on their own offense. Had we been talking about a 5-6 minute time, then it would have been a very, very exciting game. We saw a lot of crazy stuff happening in those last couple of minutes, but it was only a matter of time. You know, with the D capped up with so much control for the side of Immaculate Dub in that heaven area, eventually that hold is just going to fall.
Yeah, well, we're going to have another round on our hands very shortly here. So, do you reckon we're going to have a repeat, or do you reckon they're going to fix the issues that they had previously?
I mean, based on what we've seen, you have to say that Dub just look the strongest side right now. They look a little bit more cohesive. They're able to just transition from point to point, but get a lot more pressure down on the defense than Rascals were. So I think I've just got to back Immaculate Dub once more.
Back into the hill, my guys. So now we are heading into our next round here on Steel. We're going to have the Rascals here on the defense and Immaculate Dub out on the defense. And we're seeing Bonk it up, putting these crit stickies down around the B corridors. So they're going to try and get as much damage as they can come through that doorway.
Yeah, it's always nice to see, you know, those crit stickies, see what they can do. We're seeing, you know, a lot of teams these days opt for them in the White Room. Provides that kind of sort of extra threat, and it also means, you know, you don't necessarily have to, as we talked about, commit that soldier to White Room if you've just got some crit stickies and just a spy or a scout to call them as well. But at the moment, we've seen both of these teams staunchly using the old school double flank defense on the B point. And we actually see they might get caught out here, sticking off. In fact, complete rope forward here from Razor. They've been able to catch out both of those flank, so they're not going to be up for the B hold. The A cap is going to come in very shortly as well. So we're going to see if the side of Rascals are able to, the side of Immaculate Dub are able to really utilise those frags that they've got there.
So they're going to be rotating their players all the way through here into this corridor. The crit stickies are still at large. They have not been detonated yet. The medic's going to be walking through. Can he get the detonate? He's dead right now. He'll get them. Oh, he doesn't do it though. Oh my god. My butt cheeks were clenched. Holy lord.
Still a couple there. The Uber actually comes straight out. It's going to be a trade here. But Bonk got sniped just before the Uber could come out to save him. And with no demo man, no bird or turret as well, we're going to see the continue. Liquid just holds W, burns down Tokos, and they're just going to continue running forward. No combo up at all, and Tal goes down to Andy Roo as well. Just a couple of huge individual plays, a couple of big individual moments from those pick classes. First getting the demo, and then getting the medic at the tail end of it, and it's all looking rosy at the moment for Immaculate Dub. They're going to take the B cap, and they're going to have a huge Uber advantage as well.
It looks like they are just rolling this in now, and they've managed to find the sticky bombs in this corridor as well. They need someone to clear them out. They do get that heavy there now, and this pyro. The stickies are continuing to be laid, but they get cleaned up pretty easily. Rentar also going down here from Sheep. Fun 2 kills already running into this inside point, so looking pretty split here for the side of Rascals, so they need to be careful on this C point, as they've given up quite a lot of ground already to this offense. And also we've got the banner coming out here, and this should be an interesting fight with this banner now in play.
Yeah, they are moving here on to C, but I think what is the crucial thing, it depends if they want to commit here. It looks like they want to. They don't have the Uber yet. Shaking does have the Uber if they want to use it, so no, in fact we're just going to see Bird go down. But currently we're actually seeing the engineer Sexy Turtle doing an excellent job of somehow keeping the sentry alive with no flank support. Somehow Rohan wasn't able to spam it down. I guess the power of the Wrangler was enough, but now Raylan has been able to rotate it back over to the E point. The C point has come in here for the side of Immaculate Dub, but Uber's up from both sides, and they're actually opted to go through Death Corridor on even Ubers. A brave choice.
There's a reason why it's called Death Corridor. Good lord. Okay, so May actually manages to get a jag kill onto Rental there, but the Uber gets forced out here, and they have to go through this corridor with a really bad Uber now. It looks like, okay, Rohan gets his rocket reflected back into his chin, and now he's dead, so that soldier presence is no longer going to be there. Andy Roo trying to go for a stab gets burned to death as well, and now they're going to start rotating their players all the way around to this E point. It's a very, very quick rotation. They might get caught out here from the rest of this.
Yeah, it was a good rotation. They did a good job of keeping their players alive. You know, had had the side of Rascals been a little bit more on the ball, they would have been able to sandwich them in Death Corridor. They were waiting around an awful long time. But the moment immaculate aren't sure what angle they want to go from. We've seen Liquid running it alone, but has to deal with a Sentry and a Heavy. They got a little bit of support now from Sheep, but with the full combo from immaculate was actually rotated all the way back through B, through Spawn, and looks like they're going to try and walk in through White Room, where they do at least have the teleporter to support them.
Indeed they do, and looks like we've now got Sheep trying to take a 1v1 on this D point. Who's going to win out this 1v1 is a Scout versus Scout, and he hits him with the Rap Assassin melee for barely any damage at all to kill him. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that's some pretty nice stuff happening there, but we've seen Uber, and they've built it slightly faster here on the side of Immaculate Dub, so they've been able to pick up quite a few frags, just a couple of frags in the Uber, but a couple of ones coming down elsewhere as well. The red Uber is going to try and come in here, but it's completely denied by the side of Liquid, but it won't actually count for too much because Flo picks up Shaky, who was sitting in a sightline desperately, clean up from Tokos as well. So many players go down, Sheep just running around, picking up frag after frag, occasionally dying, respawning, coming back in for more frags. A load of players down on the side of Rascals, but the D point hasn't come down. They've got some kind of stabilization. They're just 8 more seconds, then they'll have their medic up. It's going to be a bit of an Uber disadvantage, but here it is for Immaculate Dub. They want to push into D before that medic comes up.
Rage tries to walk through the door of White Room and just gets absolutely annihilated by Bonko. But Bonko also going down there, detonates a sticky on himself, and Flo now is going to have to try and defend this corridor basically on his own with the assistance of an unbuffed soldier. Toko's going to start rotating, but the Heavy is now in. Great damage here, and they just sandwich them in this corridor and clean them all up here, so this D point is going to fall into the hands of the blue team.
Yeah, so many big classes down here for the side of Rascals. They want to desperately hold up in heaven, and the medic is completely stickied off. Eventually the stickies are dead, but Tal will go down to race with the help of Andy Rue as well. Again.
Sorry. Liquid Alchemy decided that he didn't want life anymore, and he just walked off the edge.
That's unfortunate to see. What you see in Shaky is sat just AFK in this heaven area, either typing or timing out. Eventually they do come back. Seem to be having some issues, but now we're seeing no cap time on E. They have got the decap here for the side of Immaculate. The hold is up in the kind of BC area. Rohan just trying to spam stuff down, but Shaky goes down to Centaur with the stab.
Okay, so they go. Okay, oh, Raze, careful, manages to survive there on the edge there, and he is. Oh no, falls into a Heavy and dies. Went from bad to worse really quickly, but Nerf coming down from that high ground, going to start shredding Tokos with the assistance of Rohan. They will clean up that Heavy now. So they do have this E point nearly on lock, and they can start trying to go for some cap time here, but the sniper in the corridor is being a real nuisance, just body shotting everyone off into the oblivion as Raids also takes a tumble to the pit. So they're trying to set up the sentry gun on the high ground as well. Rentar now going for a stab on that gun, but it's not going to amount to much now. As Liquid Alchemy is just going to try and blast this door. The banner also going through here. So now we've got a situation where we've got banner plays, and once again he pops banner and then immediately dies.
Wow, and we're going to have another banner from Raylin as well, but has finally, I think, only just... In fact, he's not even been able to combine with the rest of his team. So it's going to be a flank play, but it's going to be a crucial one. The banner and the scout coming in, they've been able to pick up the medic Shaky once more. So somehow this hold is still going. It seems everyone is just sandwiched in this one banana area. They have the 100% Uber ready should they need it, but at the moment Blue just can't seem to get enough players coming in from the right angles. They do pick up Bonk there with Raze's pipes, so that does force the Uber out onto Bird. They don't really find a target for it. Rohan going down as the flank as well, but with Tokos going down here for the side of Rascals, finally we're going to see Immaculate Dub put themselves in the ascendancy, put themselves on the point. Tau cleaned up by Sheep, running rampant once more. A lot of cap time coming down onto the E point. But Sports are going to be up soon. They're just not sure which entrance they want to commit in from.
Yeah, this sapper was also a little bit mistimed. No one was there to really support it. The Centurion tries to get put in lower, immediately spammed down. They just don't want to give them any chance here, and this capture is going to go through here. And we're looking at a time of 8 minutes 28.
Yeah, certainly on the slowish side. Certainly a lot better than we saw from Rascals in the previous round on the initial offense, but yeah, they seem to have some issues as well on the side of Immaculate Dub. They had a very, very good B push once more, but weren't able to convert that and got themselves stuck several times there, where they just couldn't find the aggression from the right angles. And you know, we have to hope it's Rascals kind of growing into the game here. It seems, you know, as the game has gone on and on and on, they seem to have improved, and you know, hopefully they can continue to put their foot to the pedal and, you know, keep up this mini revival that we're seeing.
Indeed, we'll see what they've got going in the tank of Rascals now. Can they do what they didn't do in the last round, which is actually shove them all the way to E and successfully do some Ubers that actually achieve things here. Once again, same setup. As you mentioned before, out on this B point, they're going to start flooding their players. We're seeing another dual flank defense on this A point, but it's really a bit of a waste of time here. Looks like we've got Rohan bombing in around, just trying to buy some space and time, shoots himself and dies. So now that's one player down for the red side. Also, we've got Maz also getting killed, but he's on, you know, early defense, so he's going to have a very short respawner, and now he's back at large. So the rest of the team now going to be able to cap up A, and now B is going to be in the sightlines for an offense here. Yeah,
we're seeing, you know, with Rohan going down, that means that they know. Oh my God, Raylin! He hits the air shot onto Sheep through that little window on the A area, popped him up with one rocket, a beautiful air shot to clean it up. It means that this white room area is a little bit open here. They bait it a little bit, but not fully, and they're actually going to go in through drop down here, Lucky.
Oh, they're actually in onto the sentry gun. No one's there to defend it. They rotated so many of their players, and the rotation was so fast from the blue team that they caught them off guard here. And now Tokol's getting super weak in this corner. He's actually going to just sit in the corner and eat up his sandwich, so he's going to be fine. And looks like now it's kind of scrappy. Red team losing a lot of players here, and it looks like blue team are only just going to win this out at the end of the day with the medic being dead on this red side, and Nerf is just going to dip and get the hell out of dodge. Razor just trying to desperately fire off some pipes into the point here. Andy Root collects a stab there onto the sniper as well, and survives actually after nearly getting pinged down by that heavy class. So he's going to be still at large and in behind, but this B point has now fallen.
You know what was really smart there for the side of Rascals was they took the combo through drop down, really fast rotation. I mean, that's kind of a standard tactic we see an awful lot in Europe and NA as well. But not only did they catch them out, they also, you saw the flank, they committed themselves onto the E point, and they came in at the tail end of that Uber exchange and got a lot of frags, particularly Tourists picking up Shaky, giving themselves an Uber advantage, and the flank was able to convert so many frags. It's been very easy here for Rascals to move themselves onto C, and they're on for a very, very good time here. They're going to be able to cap up C and still have 6 minutes for the last couple of points.
Yeah, they have now got their asses in gear, and they're making sure that they get these points individually. They've stopped going for this E push because it just hasn't been working for them, so they're just going to go point by point by point, and they get the advantage that you have from capturing all of those points. But now we're seeing the rotation in towards the corridor here. They don't want to go through Death Corridor. They do want to make their way in towards E, and then maybe go for a D push, as these bridges are now starting to extend. White Room is currently being held by the red team, so it's going to be difficult for them to make a D or E push here. But it is more favourable for E, but Bonker up going down here should put a stopper on their plans, and Tokol's also getting picked up by Sheep. And Sheep, once again, is just on a rampage, but Turris shuts him down.
Well, that seems to be a repeated factor. The Sheep just running in, getting a ton of frags, and then Turris winning the scout 1v1 at the tail end of it. But, you know, a lot of the time the damage has been done by Sheep. We're seeing an Uber coming in from blue into white room here, but it's going to be a much longer Uber for the side of red. Liquid getting juggled forward, but just about out of the range of the minigun. So we'll go down. We're going to see Rascals here continue to press the issue. Toko's getting a lot of damage down onto Nerf, but Nerf will take the arrows, continue to walk forward, clean so many gamers up here, Lucky.
Nerf just went on a rampage there. By the way, I just want to say, We've seen the Tommy Slam become kind of a meta weapon on heavy, but the stock minigun does more DPS. So if you get in that heavy 1v1 where you're both pre-firing around the corner, the minigun will actually win it out. 100. Look, we're seeing it again. He just does it again and rips Tokos apart immediately. There's nothing that he can do. So great stuff there from Nerf to defend this corridor. But looks like they are actually going to lose out on this defense here. The push comes in from Rascals, and they are going to be able to start marching their way in towards the D point here as Turris gets absolutely slammed.
Yeah, we still see here Rascals, they have a good position in White Room, they have an uber advantage here. Slightly awkward situation where a lot of spawners are coming up from red before this uber comes into play, just 90% nap on it. Bonk doing a good job of locking down the spawn, buying some time for his team. Actually gets a frag onto Rohan as well. Shaky going down to Redlin, the Sheep again running in, getting the force out onto D. All it's going to do is slow down the cap time for D here, but there's so many frags in the favour of Rascal and still a lot of time on the clock for them to do it. They're really in the ascendancy suddenly.
Just like now they captured this D point, and they're going to start making their way in towards E. This is looking a lot better for them now, and they have got the railings up, and they're in a great position where a load of red players are still respawning. Nerf is still in the dirt for another 17 seconds here, and they're trying to get these players desperately onto the point to defend it. The scout runs in, doesn't really achieve too much. Rentar falls into the pit. Raylan is going to hold that door really close just to try and defend it as long as he can, and Rohan is doing his best to just spam the point from afar from White Room. No one really contesting him other than this Pyro, so they're having to put eyes everywhere here trying to assault from multiple doors. And it's not really working out for the red team currently. They're having a real hard time getting into this point to get their bodies on the point, and E is about to go through. The pressure is really there though. The damage is starting to come in. We see multiple blue players in red health, and they're starting to get picked off here. And this E point may be under siege relatively soon. Never mind, they're all dead.
There is a cheeky sentry gun in. He actually picks up the demo, and the demo gets dropped out of the Uber as well. The Uber is out to no one other than Sexy Turtle, who has been doing a great job on the engineer, has the level 3 gun up in heaven, has the teleporter as well. But at the moment, they don't have enough classes here on the side of Rascals to convert this. They can't get enough pressure into the banana area. We're seeing Praise go for a desperate attempt. Gets the gun, but they aren't going to be able to take that teleporter down just yet. There's still a decent amount of cap time, but now we're seeing the red Uber come out.
Yeah, they're going to be flowing back into this point. They want to get Heaven on lock, and Raze goes down though. He doesn't quite get across, and Tokos is there with the Tommy Slam, just mows them down. The Sentry Gun is still at large, but it's only level 1. He gets flung into the pit on Rohan, and now the blue team are back in force. They couldn't quite find that teleport, so they will just teleport back into the action. And now the E point, they've got so many bots, ×9 on the cap. And it looks like they are going to get this point on lock and finally get it captured out. But it was so much of a defense here from this red team that I feel like they're just throwing bodies at it, but they can't. Oh, okay, they get loads of frags. They have bodies on it. They're flowing onto the point. The medic's running on it as well. Air Blast comes out, shoves them into the pit. And that is going to be a round. And holy God, what a round it was.
Yeah, very, very well played from both sides, taking it to the wire there. Great little air blast at the end from Bird. A very risky play to have just a heavy and a medic committed in that heaven area when so many players were coming down. So much pressure was going to be applied. I don't think they would have been able to win it. But Tokos won a crucial heavy 1v1. Off the back of that, they got the round.
Now we are in a 1-1 situation, so we're on to match point here on Steel, so whoever wins this next one out is going to be the victor of this first map. But all to play for still here. I'm super excited actually. I'm really enjoying this matchup so far. We are about to get our next round sorted out here, and we are now going live, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to our third round of Steel in this best of 3 on this first map, and then after that we will be going to Asheville and then upward as a decider. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. Red team now flooding their players into this B-point once again, going for exactly the same defense that they did before, and it looks like we've got our pretty standard old meta stuff.
Pretty standard. Other than we're seeing the red demo man Raze is actually setting up a couple of cheeky sentries on the A spawn door. Don't know exactly who that's meant for. Maybe just a demo getting a little bit too over eager. Just a couple of frags on A can slow it down a little bit. Can, get a nice frag that makes it easier for themselves to hold B. But, if you get sniper or demo or something, you can rest easy that some of those situations that can happen on B won't happen. But a couple of cheeky sticky drops to look out for, but at the moment pretty standard stuff again.
Yep, once again, everyone's just going to be floating their way in towards A. We've got this setup once again on this A point. I really just do not favour. I feel like it's not worth putting any bodies on there. But it looks like they have built a little bit of banner off the back of it. So that's at least something that they're going to take away from this point. But retreating now back in towards this B point. It's going to be the red team. So getting ready for a little bit of a defence here. Rentar walking in. Unfortunately, gets detonated as soon as he walks through the door here. And A is now on lock completely, and looks like they are just waiting to head in through the main door rather than go anywhere else.
Yeah, it seems to want to at least bait through the white room area. They're putting the full combo there, and while that's happening, Raylan is spamming down from the upper area. Flo, I think, back on the B side, has picked up a nice little snipe onto the demo man of Raze. So there's going to be no demo to defend B with, and based on the back of that, we're seeing an immediate rotation down through the drop down and the Uber coming straight out.
Yeah, looks like they're now going to be trading out here on this B side point, and looks like they're once again the red Uber being very favourable. But once again, after this Uber, they're in a really bad spot. They've not got a sentry gun, they've not got a heavy to back them up, so they are just going to have to retreat here. Bonk up, just moving forwards here. And we're going to be going in for the backstab. Absolutely whiffs it, and he is going to go all the way back here. Does get extinguished there by his fellow Pyro, so he's going to be just fine, and looks like now B point is currently on log. Andrew, we're going in for a stab, does find out to block it up now, and we can see a repush, and Tau getting burnt to death as well. And now we've got players running into this B point here. They're desperately trying to heal out their Pyro, and this is a mounted defense here. Tokos also going to get picked up by Nerf here, it looks like, and only just, though, gets sprayed down, and B has been successfully held, but only just.
That was a crazy aggressive repush there for the side of Immaculate Dub. Just off the back of the position that Andy Roo had, you'd normally expect your Pyro to negotiate themselves back there with the medic. They're actually getting liquid juggled in once more, but get a couple more frags, but Centaur is able to pick up Shaky in the backlines. Quite a lot of players down on both sides here, but it's going to be going to shake out a little better for Rascals in the end. Raylan going in for a desperate attempt. Andy Roo going down, but we're seeing Rascals, they don't have enough players, they don't want to hold the B point, they're going to completely vacate it other than just a sniper peeking from the long angle. Won't get anything for his troubles, and they're able to walk themselves cheaply onto the B point for free here, Rascals, and going to start moving themselves towards either C or E.
Yeah, they're going to now capture up this point, and they're going to be able to make their way in here, making their way in towards this lobby area, and they're trying to clear out the stickies. They do so. Stickies getting relayed, though, and they just Uber in once again. We've seen this Uber before, and it didn't end well for them last time with this Pyro in the corridor, doing the exact same thing it's doing now, just totally denying this Uber charge. He might get picked up for it, and it looks like he manages to get back around the corner and survives, but in the meantime, Nerf is the only casualty getting backstabbed by that spy that was picked up in the ruckus.
Yeah, and while that has happened, Sheep was able to find a little flank as well, picks up Tau, so that's going to be, you know, not only completely wasted Uber, but a medic death off the back of it, going to give Shaky, you know, only about 5-10% more advantage than he would have had otherwise, but it's nice to just get those buffs out, get those heals down. Nice little frag there from Sheep, and it's always a threat, even if it's not the most consequential mid kill. The fact that they threaten having that scout that could just pop up at any time with it is fierce potential to just meat shot everyone to oblivion is going to be putting the fear of God at the moment into Rascals.
You can say that again, but looks like now we've got a situation where Rascals are wanting to enter in through White Room. It looks like they have now just decided that they're going to regroup for a second. They're going to start building up their sentry gun, which will be used for a classic offense here, and they are going to start making their way through this main room here on this E point. And Sandwich getting picked up here, Flo getting headshot, Rentar getting picked up by the sticky bombs, and now we've got players getting traded here. Then no pick classes currently for the blue team, so they're losing a lot of power with those pick classes being at large. The pressure is now going to be slightly relieved for this medic, so the heals are going to flow in a lot easier here. Turris going to be trying to fight against Rohan. Rohan shoots a wall though and nearly obliterates himself, but it's a good defense here coming out from this red team in this corridor, and they're making it a real hard time getting in towards the C point. Uber actually comes out from the red team, and it's not looking great actually.
Yeah, slightly panicked Uber here coming in from blue. Bird is going to chase him, but mostly going to have the Uber reflected back by Liquid doing a good job separating the Uber. We're seeing a repush attempt here from the side of Immaculate. They're going to take back control of this main connector. A lot of damage coming out from Bonk, but is onto several different targets on that combo of Immaculate Dub. So Rascals are not going to be able to continue their push at the moment. They've got a sentry gun up on it. It is sapped, but Birdie is running that little home wrecker. So with actually Bonk going down as well now here on the B side, Rascals aren't really sure exactly where they would have come in from.
Sure do love me some pipe bros. When was the last time you heard that?
Quite a while, and I think it was in a pub.
Yeah, exactly. The home wrecker. Defending that sentry gun, but here we are once again in this corridor, and this time is dwindling away. It's going to be absolutely disastrous if they can't get anything going here. Rohan and Andy Roo and Maz all getting picked up though, as the flank's starting to make things happen. No pick passes for the red team. Once again, relieving pressure in the other direction as this red Uber comes out around the corner. They're going to go for a trade here, and it's not looking great. A reflection comes in, but they push Bunker up into the pit. So that's going to be really good for them now, and Bird also falling as well to the pit, but we've got 5 players currently down for this red team, only 4 players remaining, but it is the demo, heavy, NG, and medic, these defensive classes that you need to defend the C point still, so they're going to just continue defending this corridor.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the demo man alive here, Raze, so he can just continually spam Tokos, but if they have a single player here on the side of Rascals and get some cap time down on E, it would be looking a lot more rosy for them at the moment, because they do have control of the banana, and unless they're able to bully them out of banana, it's very difficult to control that E point, because the Bird, the Pyro, can just put herself in the banana area. If they go aggressive, can just air blast them into the pit. If they went, we saw in that last push they got themselves caught the wrong side, and it was Liquid who was able to punish off the back of it. But the Pyro is just such a pivotal class, and their position has to be on point.
Bonka just gets his face blown off there. That was the incredible go around the corner. Maz just picks him up there. So Bonka up now going to be in the dirt once again here, and it's looking bad for Rascals. Honestly, this is going to be so rough for them. They need to come up with some kind of solution to this problem that they're having. It may in fact maybe be that they rotate into the death corridor and take it from a different angle, because they're kind of failing right now, but it looks like they've now decided that they're going to come from this upper area in the C point, and they're going to go for this instead, which is actually working out for them. They're now taking this trade, and they've got the player picks, they've got the red player advantage here, and Tokos comes in, starts cleaning it up, but they've only got 3 players remaining on this point here, as the spy comes in from the back, stab on Tokos, he's just butter knifing him in the face, and Tokos does turn around in time, and looks like Maz now just putting the pressure down, and Tokos might just get body shot to death on the low ground. He's still alive. Okay, he finally dies.
Yeah, good pincer and good collapse there. Turris is now running around, but gets melee down to Maz, who bleeds out as well. So many frags traded. Certainly better for the blue side, but at the moment they haven't even capped C. They actually opted to take the combo onto C to start getting some cap time in, but we're going to be looking at a situation here where it's really, on the side of Immaculate Dub, they're going to be happy to give up C here. They've held it for more than long enough, more than you normally perhaps expect all 5 points to be held, as it is at the moment. So, C is a price certainly worth paying, and it's Rascals once more are going to have to find some kind of great aggressive play, some kind of situation where they get a ton of frags or get a ton of position. And with Tal going down, it's going to be harder and harder and harder.
Died with 99% Uber there as well, so they were about to get this, and then they might have been able to do something with it, but it looks like he goes down. And White Room is now being held as well, so in the perfect position for this red team to just hold off this offense now. And now you're looking at another push, which isn't going to happen for the next 40 seconds because of this, right? Because if you lose your medic in this situation, then you're going to be waiting at least... you 40 to 50 seconds for this Uber to come in, right? So now there's 40 to 50 seconds off that clock for them to do absolutely anything. So they need to either get the enemy medic, or they need to start pressuring in other areas of the map to force rotations, and that's what Turris is currently doing. He's just trying to run around and cause as much of a distraction as possible. Eventually gets cleaned up, but a little bit of room has been bought in other areas of the map because of those rotations. And now White Room has actually been taken by Rascals just because Turrets has gone in and done this. Oh, but they get shredded! Oh my god, they're all dead.
Yeah, and the chase is on as well with Sheep onto Tau. We're seeing Turris comes in, a great two-shot onto the buffed Sheep, saving the medic and preserving 60% Uber. Turris doing a great defensive job there. Just seemed to come absolutely out of nowhere like Usain Bolt, but comes in, defends the medic and keeps Rascals just about alive.
Goddamn Turris, he's popping off this game, but looks like we've got frags also continuing to get traded here. As everyone's standing in this corridor right now. The sentry gun currently only level 1. I'm not sure why you put it in the corridor when it's level 1, but here we are. He's going to do it anyway. Gets shredded immediately, so that's 130 metal gone from that engineer's pool already. But they're still trying to mount an offense on this corridor. They're all just grouping up, waiting to just flood in. And is this what they've resorted to here? They Uber in the Pyro, and now they're going to be running in here. This Heavy's been left for dead around the corner. It looks like Nerf just runs out, tries to do as much as he can, but it looks like they managed to keep their medic alive on the red team. So now, in a situation where they can still defend this point here, and this clock is going to be ticking down so much now. We're going to be looking at least a 13-minute round time because of this.
Yeah, they're still sitting pretty with their Uber here, Shaky on the D point. Healing up Raze, has the Uber ready to go if Rascals wanted to commit. They did see the whites of the eyes of Bonk, but with Bonk getting headshot, now we see them they're walking into the white. They're committing here. Demo, Scout, they're chasing everyone. It's a complete crunch.
Everyone got absolutely annihilated. Oh my god, Raised on an 8k currently. Mamma mia indeed. As they just get absolutely annihilated. Raiden dropping them, no one's impressed in chat. I'm impressed. Good lord, this defense is amazing coming out from the side of Immaculate Dub here. And they might not even get the round. We've got 3 minutes remaining on this clock here. And I don't know if they're going to ever be able to get D or E.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be backs against the wall at the moment. They're trying to walk in desperately, but again and again and again, it's just hitting themselves against a brick wall. Maz picks up Flow as well. And so many frags from Rohan. Nerf is popping off as well. Raze eventually goes down, but at what cost or what price? Because so many frags once more have gone in the side of Immaculate Dub, and it's just completely stonewalling them out of this white room area.
Yeah, big fat no coming out from the side of Immaculate Dub here. Don't let them get through anywhere in this corridor. But once again, they need to go with a different plan because what they're doing currently isn't working. They use out the overcharge. They get the medic pick though, which is amazing. So they got the drop, and now they're in a situation where they can finally do something on the side of Rascals. Are they going to be able to get this next point? I can't wait to see what time they've managed to get on this point. But it looks like they've managed to make their way in. Tal's super weak, needs to get a health pack. They're going for this E point now. They've decided, screw it, they're going to go for it. But also, as our lovely production man has just told me, we've got Phlogistonator Pyro on blue.
Oh, that's when the tilt's coming in, when it is the flog. But it seems like, you know, either just complete collapse coming out of Immaculate Dub in these last few moments on the back of that drop, or maybe they're just letting them cap. Maybe it's like one of those horribly unbalanced lobbies. They've just feel they've got enough time. They want to play a little bit more of the offense. It seems one person who doesn't want them to cap is Rohan, who will eventually go down for a nice little backstab from Centaur, but Bird picked up as well. Sheep has fallen into the pit, I believe. And at the moment, despite the position advantage that Rascals have here, they can't convert it into cap zone.
Nerf just absolutely shredded Tokos. Nerf is just walking in. Actually gets air blast. He's in the pit. He's dead. That was interesting for a second there. I thought Nerf was just going to kill their entire team and managed to get away with it in the end. It looks like they do lose their medic here on this on the D point as well. And now this E point is nearly on lock. They just need to get their bodies on it and start capping it out. But 50 seconds remaining on this clock here. And they should have enough time to cap it out, but even the slightest defense could put this in the bin. So looks like Raze is just spamming stickies up from the low ground. Tons of damage out to this point here as Raze does go down, but the damage has already been dealt. The sentry gun once again at large here, and it nearly goes down. It's on a smidge of health, and this E point capture is going to go through. And what time are we looking at, Dave? 14 minutes 30.
Wow. Yeah, that's not good. That's my official estimation is not
It's
good.
not good. Okay, so explain to me, right, what Immaculate Dub need to do to not get 14 minutes 30? What do they need to do?
I think they just have to push. I think that's all it comes down to. They have to, like, not dropping repeatedly, frag enemy gamers occasionally. You know, every time you get a couple of frags, it becomes harder and harder and harder for the red side, you know, to hold on to these defenses. So, you know, pretty much every time you get like 6 or 7 frags, you're gonna get a point. And there's only 5 points that they need to cap, and they've got 14.5 minutes. So they just need to, they can play as aggressive as they want. They don't even have to win the fights. If they win 1 every 3 fights, it'll be enough. They just have to play aggressive.
Andy Rue going down at the start of this is sign of things to come. They've spotted the setup, but it's exactly the same as before, so no real information needs to be gained here. Looks like Sexy Turtles actually got that Rescue Ranger as well to defend this gun even more, so looks like Bonker up, getting headshot pretty much immediately by Maz, so he goes down, and now we've got a situation where this blue team actually want to come through the corridor of now that they've captured this 8 point. Oh, the backstab's coming in from Andy Rue as a flowing bird. And now they're in a terrible situation now, as everyone on this red team is dead. And, well, not dropping an Uber there would have maybe done something, but holy god, they've been shredded.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about Immaculate Dub not dropping an Uber, but Rascals certainly, to give themselves any chance, couldn't afford that. Again, a demo man just coming in with an Uber and catching the medic out. Saw a couple of times earlier on this map. And they're actually attempting to block B here on the side of Rascals. This is a ballsy play, but certainly a decent idea given the situation. But it does mean that they've lost Tau, the medic. They've lost Tokos, Tourist, and Centaur as well. So while they did slow down the B cap for a little bit, they've paid a hefty cost for it. And so many players from the Immaculate Dub combo have put themselves on C as well.
I think we've just watched the same thing that I watched. Oh, Bird. What a lovely player he is. Anyway, on this C point here, they're going to cap it out and making their way now into the death corridor. I feel like they're feeling so manly at this point. They don't need to worry. There is no setup on this D point. They're just going... They've been given up. They've gone straight for an E defense. On the side of Rascals, but it's not a very good one. All of the buildings have already been destroyed. Where is the red team? Where are they, Dave? Someone please explain to me. If respawn Q is not good enough answer, Tokos is dead for 27 seconds.
Oh my god. Yeah, half of them are dead, half of them are hiding in spawn. They have to wait for the spawn. Sexy Turtle is going to try and defend E, but doesn't see the demo pad directly to their right. Gets cleaned up. Even Centaur is going in for something. He did see the demo man, but he turned around in time. And now there are some spawns up here for red, but they've already given up so much position. There's a level 2 gun up on the little barricade.
God.
There's a lot of cap time, a lot of players on the E point, and Liquid Alchemy, the Pyro, is reflecting everything. Does get picked up with the headshot. There is a sniper of Flow that's able to block. Raitlin doing his good job as well, putting some pain down. But again, we're seeing flank players coming in. Ray's picking up so many frags. And that, I think, is going to be it. Just 2 players up on the side of Rascals. Immaculate Dub have a 6x cap. Bird with one final attempt just gets juggled a little bit. Can't even get onto the point, and it's going to be Immaculate Dub taking this first map of Steel.
Wow, that is how you do it, dudes. Oh my god, they rolled them over in that game. That was nuts coming out from Immaculate Dub there. Especially since, you know, the chat were against them, you were against them, you thought Rascals were going to do it. No, Immaculate Dub come in, they capture that dub on this first map here on Steel. Maybe a bit more confident on it, but you can tell the tilt was a little bit there from Rascals in the chat, where a couple of players saying, you guys aren't special. But wow, incredible stuff there coming out from Immaculate Dub. And really, I think they were just rolling the confidence train all the way to the end there. We have some logs that we've been given by our wonderful production man himself, Wiethoofd, who has managed to combine the logs for us to show us what went down in the CP Steel game. So all I've got to say is that Raze did 28,000 damage with 485 damage a minute for 58 minutes sustained, Dave. That's a lot of damage. But surprisingly enough, our top kill man with 68 kills was Sheep. If you get an opportunity as well, head over to our various links you can find underneath the channel. Help support us. Either subscribe, go to our Discord, go to our relevant links on YouTube as well to catch up on some VODs. You can catch us here on Twitch, of course. We've got a Discord you can pop into as well, a merch store as well, which is merch.chriscast.com. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for supporting us as usual. Some amazing merch there and some lovely, lovely shirts. Best of 3 situation we're in, so we're going to be going to Asheville for our next map, and both teams are starting to get ready to go here. We've got everyone DMing in the server just trying to get warmed up and ready. Now, coming into a different game mode, we do have Koth. So if you don't know what Koth is, it means King of the Hill, and you have to stand on the point for the allotted time period, and you need to keep it captured and before the enemy team, and if you manage to get the clock down to 0, you get a round. So coming to this next map, it's going to be back and forth. We're going to see a lot of action, a lot of death matching, and it won't last an hour like Steel did.
I mean, Steel can be fast-paced at times. We saw, moments where just absolute chaos happened, but obviously the difference with the King of the Hill map, as you correctly point out, is there's always this kind of shot clock against you. You've always got a timer. The fact that there's always a time factor against you is what makes it so much kind of quicker paced than some of the other game modes.
Noticing a few changes now. Obviously, this is something I'm going to point out in the pre-game because they're unlikely to switch from what they've got now. But we are seeing several classes change what weapons they are going to be using in this game. So, for example, Nerf is going to be swapping from that minigun. So he swapped onto that Tommy Slab. We've also seen the soldiers swap off their banners because they're going to be jumping around more. So now on gunboats. I mean, at least they're not trying to use Conch Black Box on Asheville because I tried doing that before and I got absolutely bodied. It was horrible.
That's unfortunate.
Indeed, as we are now live, ladies and gentlemen, heading into our first mid of Asheville here in this second map, and we did see Immaculate Dub taking away that first game, but here we are on the mid fight. Raze gets bodied immediately though, Raylan finding that first frag immediately, and Boncup gets spooned by Rohan, so frags getting traded here, there and everywhere. Tao's also nearly in the dirt, super weak on this main shutter door, just going to be still peeking though, the sniper gets the headshot though, out in the middle of nowhere, getting absolutely bodied, and Nerf is just sitting around that corner. Bird is in a very horrible position. This mini sentry has been set up with the Wrangler, but not dealing too much, only tickling the enemies, and now has been unwrangled and is going to get cleaned up here. So amazing start here for Immaculate Dub.
Yeah, basically the perfect start. I mean, that was a nice little surf there from Tao to get themselves from a pretty awkward position away from the incoming soldier Rohan, but ended up just surfing it unfortunately into the sniper sightline. Not much they could do there, and with the medic going down, the rest of the players just had to feed themselves in and go for something. But we've seen the uber advantage that Immaculate Dub have been able to earn off the back of it. Gonna chase forward now. Little re-attempt from Raylan coming in, but it's just a distraction. It's Centaur this time, providing the combination with the soldier class, and we see them learning from their opponents from earlier in the season, and now we're seeing Shaky going down, and a big chunky advantage here for Tao.
Oh, Andy Rue going in, gets the stab on the float, it's going to buy some time. Tao's out the shutter door though, super weak, one more rocket will find him, he doesn't find it in the end, and Tao's going to be able to get that health pack in lower, so getting back up to full, and it looks like now this capture is about to get turned over back into the hands of the red team here for the first time in this game. 1 minute 58 taken off the clock there. 1 minute is pretty sizable, but we'll see what's going to happen here, as red team do have that uber advantage to play with, so now they're going to be able to hold on to this point for the duration until blue team finds their own uber, and then a little bit more.
Yeah, Tao's definitely looking a lot sharper mechanically tonight, and yeah, that was a really good effort there. Andy Rue and Rohan once more combining, just absolutely launching himself in, and the launch continues here. Both the demo and the soldier going in. They do get the force out. They were decently denied there from Turris, but eventually enough pressure comes down onto Tao, going themselves down to about half health, getting the force out as well. So, you know, while the cap is controlled now, we're seeing Shaky move towards this Uber advantage. They're going to want to get the gamers up, and it's up to Rascals really whether they want to continue to hold forward as they are doing. They are going to have to worry about that Uber coming up very, very shortly.
Ooh, Andy Rue tries to go in for a stab there, doesn't quite find it in the end. It looks like Rohan also getting picked off there. So players already going down for the blue team before they even get their push sorted here. They do find that Uber charge and they are heading up to this top left area to try and take that high ground, and now they're going to be moving in. Ready and waiting to use his Uber. They do use it through main. They're going to be taking Sheep in on the Uber, trying to find Tao, but he gets around the corner just in time. They have claimed the space. They've taken out that mini sentry as well, and they've managed to kill Rentar as well. So now they've managed to find a couple picks here. Oh, Bonker up walking through the doorway though, gets absolutely shredded by Sheep. And like you mentioned before, his deathmatching capability knows no bounds. Tokos going down. Tao gets headshot, in fact, as well. So this red team Uber advantage that they had previously is now absolutely in the bin. Bird's trying his best to get in there, and Sexy Turtle running in. Immediately headshot. Maz gets headshot in return. And now players getting traded everywhere, but no cap has come through for this blue team. As Andy Rue going in for a sample to float. Unfortunately, can't find it. Only just gets it there at the end. And now they get their players on this point and starting to get the capture through. And 1 minute 12 remaining for this red side. So not doing too bad in this game so far.
Yeah, definitely the right idea from Rascals. I think that, you know, when they had all 9 players alive and no Uber for the side of Immaculate Dub, to not give them anything to go in for the push to try and block it while everyone was stacked up on the point. But it just wasn't quite coordinated enough, a little bit out of sync, a bit out of time. Players feeding in at slightly different timings. It was very easy for Immaculate Dub to focus fire everyone down as they flew in, just slightly out of sync. So at the moment, I mean, what it did do for the side of Rascals was buy a little bit of time, so they do still have a bit of a time advantage. The players come jumping in for the sack wave as well, so now they're going to engineer themselves an Uber advantage as well to boot. And Tao has been able to run out of there, not been able to build Uber quite as efficiently as he would have wanted, but they are still going to have a big Uber advantage to work with, and they're going to be able to push very shortly.
Liquid Alchemy just running into main to see if he can find that medic. Couldn't quite find it and ends up dying, but I mean, life well spent, I think, trying to find that medic. But it looks like Road's going to bomb around the corner trying to find that medic, and the Uber does actually come out from this red team here, down to 30% as they manage to get the enemy half of the map and raise. Down to half HP, but a lovely arrow comes out to save his life, and Yuri gets headshot by Flow. So that spy also going to be down here, and looks like red team are going to capture out this point with 30 seconds time disparity here. Slowly ticking down there as they're not actually stacking this point as much as you would like to see. And now 20 seconds remaining for this blue side, 25 in fact. And now they're in a situation here. They're about to get their Uber on the blue team. They're heading towards the main shuttle to use it through, and they do so. No Uber's dropped here. Sheep's running in once again. Exactly the same strategy as before. In towards main. Great damage onto these players here. And looks like Turret's in main though, dealing tons of damage. And Raze actually gets picked up there. Turret's turning it around. And Rentar going down as well from Rohan in the backline somewhere. Looks like Tokos backing through the shutter door. No one's contesting me. Only just goes down. Liquid Alchemy sprays him down with flames. Raylan in main as well. Super weak. Cleans himself up. And now the red team with only Sexy Turtle left alive. Great stuff here from the side of Immaculate Dub. Insane fighting here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, Rohan has been an absolute beast on the flank, just providing a lot of issues to the side of Rascals. Again, we saw Rascals. It was a carbon copy of what happened earlier. They kited the Uber perfectly, telegraphed Uber, kited it nicely, but again, they try to repush, but it's a drip-fed repush, and now they're going to have to go into a fully set-up defense. So many players on the side of Immaculate Dub just in better positions to defend the point. They can't even get onto it. It's just completely denied by Liquid, and the first round is going to go to Immaculate Dub.
Immaculate Dub taking away this first round, and a 1-0 so far in this game. It looks like now we've got another fast rollout coming out from Raze. He's only half HP, getting bombed again by Raylan, and needs healing. They're desperately... Oh no, in the corner! Bonker up capitalizes, layers up those stickies like a cake and destroys them here. Nerf also around this corner. Tokos taking the 1v1, and Nerf wins it out despite the heal disadvantage. And now it goes down to that detonator kill there from Bird, and they are going to be able to get back up on this point here and claim it away from them here. So great stuff. Coming out from the side of Rascals, able to claim this first point, but you got to hand it Bonker up there, really capitalizing on that poor positioning.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how aggressive both these teams are in these mid-fights. It's exciting to see, and they're doing a great job of just capitalizing off each other's damage, and there's just so much action happening at every mid-fight. Both the teams just going balls to the wall, committing, getting aggressive. We saw Andy Rue being able to make use of the chaos, get a nice double frag, but it wasn't enough with Shaky going down. A sack attempt there. Oh my god, Tal went down to single digit health, does pop the Uber out at the last second. They clean a lot of gamers up here as well, so they're going to have a nice little position, but Shaky does have just a couple of gamers with support, but the key thing is that level 2 sentry that they can play around.
Yeah, it looks like the pressure is really mounting there with those sack attempts that come in. Raylan once again in the chat with a lame, just throwing out that beef into the enemy team, but looks like now we've got a blue Uber coming around the corner, once again going to be chasing, but Tal is well aware of it this time around. He's going to be running all the way back out to Remain, and they're never ever going to be able to catch him here. They're just cleaning the space once again with their Uber charge. Headshot comes down to Sexy Tails. That mini sentry is not going to go back up again once it's cleaned up here, and Turris in lower, just being a little bit of a nuisance here, trying to do as much as he can. Andy Rue gets extinguished, coming back into the point as well, and they managed to cap it out, but 1 minute 46 still to go for the red team, which is a pretty sizable time after the first capture, and Tal is about to get his Uber back again. Yeah,
slightly better Uber coming out, but what it does mean is that Rascals are actually going to just wait out the leapfrog Uber. They're going to want to, but actually Bonk and Tau get completely separated. The flank has been dominated by Rohan as well, running in behind, waiting on the health back. The heavy will probably clean him up. No, it's actually Tourist cleans him up. But there's still 100% for Tal. They've been able to walk towards on the point, as quite a few players there did go down for the side of Immaculate. We just have a little bit of a lull in that action. A single attempt from Maz just to try to snipe Tal, who does have the 100% up. And we say 90% for Shaky, but the slightly awkward situation of not having the point and it being even Ubers.
Looks like Andy Rue's going to be rotating all the way around to the dispenser, and he looks like he's going to go for a stab on this high ground here. And he's just buying so much information for his team. Goes up for the stab on the Tal. He doesn't quite get it. That was so close from him on Andy Rue. Very close there, getting the stab onto the medic. Looks like we've got an even Uber situation though. And now we've got a stalemate on our hands. Waiting for Raze and Rohan to come up though before they do anything. And I think Blue Team are in an actual alright position here to just go for another sack wave and then see what they can do from there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting Immaculate Dub. They really haven't done anything in the last 30 seconds or so. Just the one spy play attempt. It is an attempt at a sack coming in from Rohan, but nicely reflected by Bird there. Spam coming out from Raze, but not enough. Andy Rue now running in as well, but there's so many players supporting Tau, and it's not going to do much. The Uber is traded out onto the point now from both sides. Slightly better classes here, I think, for the side of Immaculate Dub for a post fight.
Looks like they lose their medic on the blue team here and on the red team, so now it's just scrappy fighting here, there and everywhere. But unfortunate position there, didn't notice the stickies were getting laid up behind that blue medic and actually just walked back into them and died to them. So could have avoided that death, but here we are on the point here. They cap it out, 15 seconds remaining for the side of Rascals, and I think they've got to be feeling good about this.
Yeah, they're definitely got to be happy with how much of a time advantage they've got themselves there. Over 2 minutes briefly, but situation, neither team has Uber here, so any situation here where Rascals are able to get a ton of frags will bode well for them. Someone who's looking for frags is Rayleigh, and the frag he does get is Shaky. Ray's going down as well, Bonk committing in, but they've got those crucial frags onto Medic and Demo, but actually the flank coming in from Immaculate Dub, Rohan once more just running absolute rampant in the backlines, cleans a lot of players up, but they've lost so many for it on the side of Immaculate Dub. Rascals, with such a huge player advantage, is going to be able to walk back onto the point. The medic has spawned as well, so it's going to be even Ubers, although both Ubers are nowhere near being a factor, and it's just 10 seconds left for Rascals to hold on for one more team fight.
Here comes the pub push. How many players can they get on this point? Okay, gets body shot. He's dead. They're flying in. They can't do it. They're all dead. When you go for plays like that and you are on the offense, on the defense, you need to be careful because you have those longer respawn timers, and they were completely caught off guard by that. Ended up being in the dirt and ended up a respawn disadvantage, so really rough for them coming into that next fight. But Raze, once again, super weak at the start of this mid-fight, is going to get bombed and nearly goes down immediately here. We're seeing much better damage. The bomb's coming in as well. Raylan goes in and actually picks up so many kills and damage there in that corner, and Turris now getting caught out as well nearly, and actually manages to get away. Rohan trying to go for a bomb, can't quite find it, and Tal still at large with his heavy.
I would like to see they had the perfect classes to go in for a sack, to try and salvage that up. But both Rohan and Raze, neither of them committed. Neither of them. They ended up just baiting each other, I think, and neither went for an attempt onto Tau. So Tau is going to preserve that big Uber advantage that they do have. Maz is just trying to find some kind of angle, but hasn't really been hitting shots as of yet from what I've seen in his first couple of rounds. Had a couple of decent opportunities, but seems to have moved them mostly. And it's once more up against so many players flooding over that roof. They get the force out, they lose 4 for it, they only get burned, but they crucially get that Uber out. It's going to be a chunky Uber advantage once more for Shaky.
Rentar is currently in position. He can smell medic blood from a mile away, and it looks like he's making his way into position. Just going to be going for the sap onto that teleport, so they know he's there now. Know that he's going to be in that position. The sapper immediately removed, and Maz comes through that telly, and they get their sniper back in the action. Looks like they're going to be heading around this corner here, ready to use out their Uber charge. No sniper pressure is there, and looks like they still haven't used out this Uber. They don't need to use it, in fact. They retain their Uber and just reclaim the point. They backed off way too quickly on the side of Rascals there. They've given it up for free.
Yeah, that was a really impressive adaptation. And now they continue, they're walking in through the shutter, take the Uber in onto Sheep and Raze. They pick Tau up, completely catch them off guard. That's a great adaptation from Immaculate Dub. That's exactly what you want to see. Just perfect play. Just keeping them guessing, utilising their advantage and catching them out. So impressive.
Yeah, they knew that Tau was sitting so far back in that shot as he did previously, ready to run away, so they don't use, and then they just bait them into a position where they think they're going to be safe and then just destroy them. Incredible stuff there. Really nice adaptation, as you mentioned there, to the previous strategy, and now they're in a situation where they have the point, and they are going to have an Uber advantage to boot here for this blue team. So now they're going to be in a much better position defending this point than they were previously, and they should be able to hold on to it for another little short time. Liquid Alchemy dropping down though, does get picked up there, and looks like Bonker Up also going down. So it's looking alright here for this blue team, retaining this point, and Rascals having a really hard time trying to get around this corner. Tokol's actually getting headshot there, needs to retreat himself, so that heavy removed from the equation, and now we're in a situation where it's even players for both teams, as Rental going down there, so despite also going down, so no sap's going to be coming out as well. So this defense is going to continue for this blue team, but lots and lots of pressure coming down from Rascals.
Yeah, Immaculate Dub do a very good job of just piling so many players onto this roof that even when Rascals, they're having to put so much focus, particularly the Demoman Bonk is obviously the best class to shoot that roof, but when your Demoman is just spamming one area, it means it gives a lot of freedom for Raze to just play that low ground and find nice little traps or whatever. And we're actually going to see an Uber train come out here.
Yeah, it looks like Tau actually had to use prematurely there because he'd spotted the sniper, but it looks like they don't really get much done. Bud gets absolutely shredded by that sentry gun as well, trying to come over that roof, and nothing really happens here. Tokols and Bird just going down. Andy Rude, the only one in the respawner here, and the blue team is relatively healthy here, so great position to be in if you are the side of Immaculate Dub. They are managing to hold on to this point and not let any advantage go, and this level 3 sentry gun is making it impossible for them to sackwave now.
Yeah, it is really difficult. They don't seem to have too many ideas. There's so many players on this roof. There's a pyro, a soldier, a scout, and where we seen Tau did walk in into the low ground, put themselves in an awkward position and weren't able to be cleaned up. A little bit overzealous overextension there from a couple of players. Rohan once more, pencil jumps in the air, gets cleaned up. Shaky gets sniped as well, so out of nowhere really, Rascals just baiting the side of Immaculate Dub forward a little bit, absorbing the pressure nicely, and everything collapsed for the side of Immaculate Dub, but at least they have a big time advantage.
They do. They can allow it to go at that point pretty much, but now we're in a situation where they literally, all they need to do is sack attempt here with all their players, get the force onto Tau, which has been so reliable before, and you can see Tokoz's positioning. He's ready for it. He's ready to just deny that roof. And Andy Rude just going to be jumping in here, gets absolutely shredded immediately, but that buys space for Raze. He's jumping in, and sending the soldier, and Tau has received the punch to the face, and he does actually use out that Uber charge there on that roof, and they're not going to be able to do anything with this Uber apart from kill the players that sacrifice themselves for it. And Bird's going to be diving in. Unfortunately there, Bird goes down, and Turris overextends. So now the blue team are in a great position, but Flow still at large, going to deny Maz from getting any advantages off the bat.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for Tau. They had taken most of that sack wave, but just at the very end, I think it was a single pipe just popped them up, and it popped them up in such a way that they were under threat of either getting sniped or having the scout rush them over the roof. So they decided they had to pop. I think it was definitely a good choice, but the blue Uber is now up. Raze gets sniped before the Uber can even come in, so it's mainly onto a scout. They cleaned Centaur up, who did get the one frag onto Maz. The attempted repush is coming out here from the side of Immaculate, from the side of Rascals, but again it's a complete cringe. They get crushed completely as they drop down off that battlements area. Andy Rue did a great job as well.
Very, very mistimed there. They didn't have that. They had the super advantage that they could have played with, but they just decided to not go for it in the end. And as a result, they've ended up in this situation where they lost that huge 80% Uber that they had to boot, that they could have used to just repush the point. And now they're in a situation where they've got 11 seconds left. They need to get back in this point. The pub push is on once again, Dave. Can they flood this point as fast as humanly possible? Raylan just throwing himself in. Tokov's walking around this corner very slowly. Bud's running onto the point as well. They're trying to get bodies on top of it, and it's kind of working. There's basically no defense here coming out from the side of Immaculate Dub. They're actually losing players everywhere here. Tokov's on the point trying to get something done, but the clock is down to overtime. Backstab comes in from Rentar. They kill off Liquid Alchemy, and now they're on this point. Good damage from the soldier, but 8 seconds remaining. There are no respawners that are going to get to this point, and it looks like the pub push has succeeded.
Yeah, I have to say that just looks a little bit of fear there coming out for Immaculate Dub. The first time we've really seen that tonight. They just didn't fancy themselves. We saw what a good job Rascals had done earlier of just completely denying any attempt at that last second push by playing all the locking down all the doors. But Immaculate Dub played much more passively and paid for it.
Looks like Raze once again going down here. A few reflective pipes there from Liquid Alchemy to keep his medic alive. So in a situation, no demo men available and an engineer advantage to the side of the blue team. The engineer just comes through now, and Turris is now dead as well. So it's great picks here for the blue side. They can make their way out into this middle point again. 2-1 currently the scoreline. So blue team needs to get themselves back in this game. This is their map pick now, and they previously won on the last map. So if they want to close this out, they better win on their map pick before going to this deciding map of Upward here. So now blue team capping out that point in a situation as even Ubers. So now there needs to be some kind of attempt onto the blue medic to get this capture through or go for a trade. They're opting for the trade option in towards Nerf here. Nerf just immediately used on, and a nice defense here. Bonker up going down as well, so no damn man available. Tau getting chased out of main. Sheep is just on the chase, and this soldier going down. They do manage to pick up the blue medic though with that soldier.
Yeah, that's nice little kind of consolation of what would have otherwise been a very disastrous little Uber attempt. You know, whenever you're trying to Ubers like that, you don't really want to lose your demo man, but now they have the medic. We'll see whether they want to push off just the pure heal advantage. I mean, they've been so aggressive time and time again, wanting to just play any advantage that they do have on the side of Rascals, but it seems they're actually going to take the slightly slower route. Players are a little bit committed. They're not sure that actually the medic tower is dropping down only on 82%, putting themselves in a bad position, getting separated from the rest of the team. Very uncoordinated, not sure what they want to do, but they do smuggle Tau out of there, and they do still have an Uber advantage, so hopefully they'll now push with that advantage, but they've lost almost 1.5 minutes for it.
Ah, the pain. Coming in with the supercharge now and through main is the red team, but looks like they have not managed to really do anything at all here, and the medic is still lost for the blue team, so Nerf is going to be coming around this corner here, just trying to desperately hold off this point, and going to be spamming across the edge of that point, and there's not a lot that red team are going to be able to do here. They are just kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to get back onto this point. Rentar in behind though. The decloak does get heard. It looks like a blue team do indeed have headphones.
Yeah, not often you see on this map an Uber advantage push come in like that and just get nothing, not even get the cap time, not even bully them out enough to get the cap time. So about as bad as it possibly could have been for the side of Rascals. The time is ticking down as much as it can, and to make matters worse, Andy Rue picks up Tau. Bonk goes down as well. Those are classes you don't want to lose. Desperate attempts of a sack wave coming in, but they're jumping into a pyro. The heavy is too late. walking into just fully buffed players just looking exactly where he is coming from. Just too many targets to try and frag, and we're seeing immaculate dub. They're looking rampant and they're looking for the perfect round.
Yeah, so they are just flooding their players in once again, just throwing bodies at this point here. Tara's going down as well, and Rohan just on the offense this entire game, it feels like, and they are managing to hold on to their Uber on the blue team here, but you can't help but feel like a sack is going to come out here. Once again, that level 3 sentry gun at large. So there's not a lot that can happen here for this red team. They're going to be running a Fist of Steel is the option, apparently, running into this point. That's going to be 2-2 as the scoreline. And now we're in a situation, it's basically match point here for immaculate dub. But if Rascals take away this last round, then it's going to be going to a third map. All to play for here, Dave.
All to play for, and we're going to have to see Rascals step it up a little bit. That's kind of embarrassing to not even post a single cap on that round after, you know, so much good work the previous rounds. Immediately Maz picks a snipe up onto Tau. That's no medic, no heals for the mid-fight. Committing here from the side of Bird, just getting forward, getting some pressure down, but nicely kited by the side of immaculate dub and shaky. A spy attempt into shaky on the last second, but it's not going to be enough. Get some damage down onto the medic, but they will survive.
Immaculate dub. They really are really strong now on these mid-fights. Ray's actually adjusted what he needs to do on the last one, because I'm pretty sure he's died on every single mid-fight that's occurred, but there's like Rohan being aggressive, spotting out that they're going to be moving up onto the top left area onto battlements, but I mean, that's pretty standard stuff here. So we're going to see what the hold's going to be. Looks like once again we have an engineer trying to set up his sentry gun and just get that ready for the sack wave that's going to come in here. And looks like they're coming around this corner. Tokov's going in for the sack, just gets immediately burst down, but no one comes flying in. And they're all just going to die out at this point. Uber actually gets forced, though, in the end, as so many players get picked up here. Rentar with the revolver for the force, just chasing him into main. Rentar is on the chase.
Yeah, I think he did enough. He got a 3k and then forced the Uber out off the back of it, so about as much as he could have won. Raylan going down to Andy Rue as well, so the spies suddenly popping up for this final round of Asheville here. We're seeing actually immaculate dub going for an attempt at a repush, but flows in position to shoot down Liquid, and again Centaur coming in and picking up the medic. The other medic now, Tau, is a threat, but so many players around. A beautiful surf as well there, just to put so many players between himself and the incoming soldier. Nicely done there from Tau.
Okay, so 1 minute and 1 minute and 9 seconds, in fact, brought off this clock for the side of immaculate dub, which is alright coming into the first round, but now they're going to be in a situation where it's going to be a sack attempt time, and you can see they are getting ready for it. There are stickies on the ground, and he's getting his stickies bombed away. The soldier is the no, and Rohan flying in, immediate force. Nothing can be done there, and Tau just has to use out the overcharge.
Yeah, I think every single sack attempt that immaculate dub have gone for has just worked. I don't think Tau has been able to milk a single one, but we're seeing Tau gets separated with Andy Rue, the only heal target. The enemy spy comes in, guns down Tau using the buff that was given to him, and that is a disaster. Too many players over chasing into lobby. They were never going to get anything with that Uber, and where it got forced out, they got way too ahead of themselves, and Tau got separated, and they pay for it.
I just grimaced when that happened. I was like, no guys, come on, you do better than this. And Rohan now just taking that high ground off the enemy team, making sure they have that roof control still remaining. Receives an arrow. Looks like the NG's going to be good on that dispenser for his medic again. One thing that we haven't seen a lot of is the usage of the dispenser armor. We did see the blue medic use it for a short period of time, but eventually got forced off by the spy when the rest of his team died, which is fair enough, but in these sack attempts, Tau could really be sitting in a level 3 dispenser, and it would make him so much harder to force, but not seeing a lot of that in this game, and it's costing him quite dearly.
Yeah, you can also see Shaky's doing a much better job of just changing up the position that he's playing. Whenever he expects that sack attempt, he's often playing, further back or further forward onto the point. And when the medic's a lot less predictable, it's quite a bit harder for that sack attempt to work. And, playing back and having that heavy as the extra armor, it's actually kind of difficult to deal with that unless you've got a spy coming in from the backlines unseen. So, at the moment, just immaculate dubs seem to have their finger on the pulse. They seem to have a little bit more map knowledge, a little bit more kind of preparation on this map, I think.
Indeed, I just witnessed a Spy 1v1. Revolvers got whipped out and they were having a Texas showdown, but looks like Tal's going to be running away from this blue Uber charge that came out in the end. So Uber has an exchange, 30 seconds remaining now, and the blue team, they do have only just enough time for an Uber, but it will be very, very close to the wires. They need to get in here before this Uber even comes out if they want any chance of making it back to this game. They're very, very small advantage to play with, and they need to be building. And they're not building fast enough here, Dave, and they need to get their players in. I think we're looking at another pub push situation, but we saw how that went last time. Let's see if they can do it again here. Going into this round, any fear being shown, Bonk it up, running in. This level 3 sentry gun is currently being wrangled, and it's doing so much work. The sentry gun is absolutely ripping them apart, and there's nothing that they can do here. And it looks like 1 second ticks down. No one gets to the point. GG has been called, and that's going to be it. 3-2. And it's like Immaculate Dub is going to be taking this one away.
Yeah, Immaculate Dub. They do take the dub themselves, and you know, you have to say they were just the superior team, particularly on the second map.
Like we mentioned before, they just had such consistent sack attempts here, and we do have logs to stare at for some numbers to get a little bit of context as to how this game actually went. First thing that jumps out at me, 11,000 damage for Raze, and 34 kills for Maz. This sniper was basically unstoppable.
That was certainly a big factor. It doesn't necessarily matter how much your sniper does. You know, both snipers did a lot of work. That really wasn't the decisive thing when the Ubers for one side are just so much better with the combo play overall, and you know, winning the kind of tail end of those team fights as well. That was what made the difference for Immaculate Dub.
As you can see, Medic stats very, very much even here as well. So, you know, all in all, a very, very close matchup. Both teams played admirably, and you can't be upset with that one. So once again, head over to our YouTube channel, watch our YouTube videos that we have on Critscast. If you want to support the channel, then just hit the subscribe button. You can also do so with your free Twitch Primes if you have Amazon Prime, also linked on our Twitch channel. Also head over to our Discord as well. All the relevant links are below. Follow us on Twitter and all the relative social medias, and we do have merch and all that other good stuff. So if you want to buy some, then feel free. It's basically the only good TF2 merch that you can find out there. Also visit Patreon if you want to support even more. Yeah, check out all those nice shirts and stuff. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for bearing with us for the EU Caster Boys. We know you love your Australians, but here we are, and thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you in the next one, so peace.
Hi, old beaver! Away!